Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that teaches young men how to buck up and young women how to calm down. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick.
Uh,
And this is The Crunch, our special Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner midweek episode. Every week we post an episode on our main feed on Sunday talking about a Catholic life topic. And every week on Wednesday, we post an episode talking about dating because you guys have so many dating questions.
Way too many.
It
dating
is
questions.
obscene. We just came back from a break, so our
We're back.
backlog is
Thick.
full of questions.
Juicy
However, if you post a
backlog.
question, some of them were timely, so we're not going to get to them. But if you post it, if you have dating questions, you can go to bit.ly/crunch discord to the dating corner channel. You can submit your question, and sometimes our listeners are the great and eminently attractive people of the Crunch Discord of Crunchville will answer your question before we do. And so you don't even need to wait for the
Look at that.
episode. But Ethan, I have
Look at that.
3 questions for today.
Really?
People that need your help.
I'm nothing if not a generous multi-millionaire doctor who can give not any of my money, but maybe some of my advice, and then hastily scribble on a sheet of paper that allows you to get the sweet medicine that you need, which is usually just talking to them. But I'm ready to do whatever is required of me. Let's just say that.
I'm excited to hear that. And I've been going to the doctor a lot recently, so that
You
just
have
reminded
been.
me
You had gingivitis, and you've got the
I don't have
eye
gingivitis.
cancer. You got the
I floss.
You got the melanoma. What's it called when it's in your eyes?
Melanoma, I think is
Skin cancer. What's it in your eyes when you've got the clouds? You're matriculating. Cataracts. You've got cataracts.
I don't have cataracts.
Oh,
but
thank
the
goodness.
dentist that I go to is definitely like a cosmetic dentist. Like they do general dentistry, but then they try to like upsell you on teeth whitening.
Right. I could give you wolf fangs. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. He was like, "Oh, I have some medicine that I can put on your tooth," and they were like, "Your insurance doesn't cover it." And I was like, "How much is it?" They're like, "Oh, like $25 per tooth."
Oh.
And I was like,
cosmetic dentist,
I
you
have
dog.
a lot of teeth. So how many teeth do I need it on?
$100.
I only needed it on 8 teeth. So it was gonna be, but $200, 200 smackaroonies. That's expensive.
That is
Pretty
not
expensive.
insignificant. Yeah.
No, it's not. And the other hard part is that I have an extra tooth on the bottom of my mouth. This one right here. Got
You have an extra tooth?
I have an extra tooth. Yeah.
How'd you get one of them?
Genetics, I guess. But the dentist was like, "Oh, you have an extra tooth on the bottom." I was like, "Great! It'll be so much easier to identify my body."
That's funny.
He didn't think it was funny.
You and me should start a business where we have people lay down and then we put water in their mouths and then we ask them questions about their lives and then we charge them $200.
Do you think anyone's ever done people have done like podcast in cars. People have done podcast while eating hot wing.
Slime got his whole body waxed on the yard for their like 10K patron thing. So they did a podcast in the waxing studio, which is wild.
Do you think we could do podcast in the dentist's office? Do you think that'd be funny?
Yeah. And
the little tube.
And the technician's like, "You're fogging up my mirror. Stop breathing so heavy." It's like, "Sorry, ma'am. I'm a podcaster. Right. I have to breathe through my mouth."
So
let's do the questions. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Lay it on me.
The first question, it comes from someone who likes a guy, but he doesn't go to mass and just wants to know what she has to do. So dear Dr. Ethan and Nurse Patrick, that's me. I started talking to this Catholic guy from a dating app. He lives an hour away from me in rural Tennessee. Seems like a good man, but only goes to mass twice a month. His reason is that he picks up overtime at his job every other weekend, spends a lot of time running around helping his family on Sunday. He also lives in a rural area where there's not a lot of mass times. Personally, I think these are weak excuses to put the sanctification of your soul on the back burner, but I'm trying to tread lightly, suspecting mass attendance is not emphasized in his upbringing. To give you some context, I'm about to turn 32. This puts me in the hag status on the podcast.
Okay, hold on. That was an off-the-cuff comment. That was not. I didn't.
Wait, you said that?
I might have said that people over 30 were hags, but it wasn't. But
It at least puts you in the crone status. It at least puts you in
crone,
the crone
hag,
zone.
yeah, the crone zone.
She said LOL, which means she took it well.
Okay. Whew, good.
This guy is late 20s, so we are both at the age where we could marry soon. I feel strongly the husband should be the leader in faith and therefore would not marry someone without first knowing he will get my family to heaven. If we had kids and I died, I would need to know that he would emphasize his Sunday obligation. Man, women think so far ahead.
They really
That's
do.
great.
If I
What if
die
I get
one
married?
day,
What if we get
if
married, have kids, and I
and
die?
I die, and it's like you're trying to buy a chair in the store, and you're like, "This is the conversation." It's like I just want to buy this chair. We don't need to go
This is the
3
chair
years
that
in the
I'm
future.
going to die in. I need to.
Yeah, yeah, right. Man, women really be shopping.
Women really do. The question now becomes, should I give this guy a chance, knowing he is currently not attending mass every Sunday on his own? Should I give him a chance to get to know me before pursuing a relationship and have a conversation about my expectations about mass? I know some couples started out this way that turned into beautiful marriages, and then they end up going to mass regularly. Some marriages that have ended this way because one spouse thought they would evangelize the other one and later they divorced. Any advice from the dating doctors would be greatly appreciated. Ethan.
Yeah. This so first of all, how wonderful it is that you found yourself a rural Kentucky man. I would do
Tennessee. But yeah,
untold things. What did I say?
you said Kentucky.
What where are they actually?
Tennessee.
I take it all back.
Jack Daniels, not Evan Williams.
Okay. Well, how wonderful it is that you found yourself a rural Appalachian man, and I'm very happy for you.
From the old
Uh,
Smokies.
the old Smokies. So it sounds like you don't know him very well yet, from what I can read. Like maybe you guys have talked a little bit, you know, a little bit about what he's got going on, work, family, that type of thing. But it seems like you don't really know him in any type of significant capacity. And so basically, it seems like you're trying to either find an excuse to not date him, which if you don't want to date him, don't, or you don't have enough information to make a decision. So you got to talk to him. You got to like have conversation with him.
Yeah.
And has he asked you out? Or like, have they gone on dates, or is they just like, is this just a guy?
It didn't say. Oh wait,
Is she
no.
just doing the thing that Catholic guys do where they see a woman and say, what if I married her?
I started talking to this Catholic guy. So they're talking. As the kids in my youth group told me, they're talking, they're not talking.
Oh
There's
gosh.
a difference.
But we used to do that. It's like I like her, but I don't like her. You know, we would say that. It's all the same. It's all just different phrases.
They're talking, they're not talking. They're sniffing each other's butts.
They're at the dog park. They're at the dog park. They're getting a little whiff. So yeah, I think you need to talk to him more. I think you should. I don't think there's anything wrong with going on 2 or 3 dates with this guy and sussing out like what is the depth here? What's going on? Because I understand that you want a leader, but not everybody is where you want them to be all the time.
Yes.
And so that has to be a decision that you have to make and a conversation that you have to have. You can say, hey, I would love to date you, but one thing that's really important for me in a relationship as it leads to marriage is that the man is the leader spiritually, which means going to mass every Sunday, having a regular habit of prayer, being able to hold spiritual conversation with me, holding me accountable to my spiritual, practices and penances and things that I want to do for myself. Are you okay with that? And then you can just say what you want. And then if he says, no, I'm not comfortable with that, then don't date him. And if he says, yes, I am comfortable with that, then you can date him. And then if it turns out that he's not doing what you want him to do, then you can break up with him. And that sucks. Obviously nobody wants that, but I think you can just get into a position where you say, these are the types of things that I want in a relationship. And then he's free to either accept your terms or not.
Yeah, I think
so.
A lot of folks want to go into a relationship knowing that it's going to work out, and sometimes that's just not the case. This is what grinds my gears about that you got to date for marriage thing. It's like the underbelly of that advice is that it reinforces.
You have to find someone perfect.
Right, they have to be marriage material right away.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta say that with the caveat that like that dating someone is not marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't have the same level of commitment, nor should it. You know,
Right.
it's not. Yeah. Anyway, so you're fine. Go on dates with them. I think Ethan's right on this one.
Yeah.
Go on dates, and then like sometimes guys just need the standard to be put here, and they'll be like, cool.
Yeah.
I've
And
never
then
met
they'll
a
just
guy
meet
who
it.
was explicitly told, like, "Hey, I need like this, and this needs to get done." That doesn't just do it, unless he wasn't
Right.
listening,
Yeah.
which sometimes happens.
Because he was reading Twitter at the time and wasn't fully engaged, and he forgot
Yeah.
to take the trash out. And then it was all day and the trash was full and he still hadn't taken it out. And the baby was screaming and dinner was being cooked and he was playing the piano and he should have been taking the trash out. Why was he doing that?
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So the next question, we're gonna take it from 32 years old and we're gonna dial it all the way down to 15.
Holy
so-
wow. Okay, everybody turn on your age appropriate interaction visors. Everyone
Make sure
activate
proper boundaries are placed. We're going
set
to be talking
thrusters.
about a teenager.
Set thrusters to minor.
Set thrusters.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Bluetooth.
We're not thrusting any minors. That's not what I meant. It was meant to be like about a spaceship. Patrick, you know what I was trying to say.
I did, and then you pointed it out, and then I stopped.
I just didn't.
I
don't want there.
engaging.
I don't want there to be any innuendos or any misgivings
Zero.
about my opinions on these topics.
So we're actually going to be dealing with a question from a 32-year-old mom who has a 15. I don't actually know if she's 32.
Thank goodness.
Anonymous mom who has a 15-year-old daughter. I don't know if she's 32. She might be younger. Who knows?
Yeah.
Moms and teenagers. So
Yeah.
this mom said to us, by the way, number one listener of the Crunch is moms. Moms love the podcast, always
Moms
have.
are huge. Yeah.
I have a dating corner question. You guys are younger than me and navigated social media in your dating years. I did not. I was married the year after Twitter launched. My oldest daughter is 15, has only just now been allowed to date. Just been now allowed on social media apps. She's not allowed to date, but we let her invite boys to family functions if she likes them, and she did go to a dance with a boy last year. With the new social media, she gets more contact from boys at her school. She does online school now because she's too anxious around people.
Mm.
The problem is, as soon as a boy shows interest in her, she is terrified by him. She hates the idea of being seen as sexy, quote unquote sexy. And whenever she finds out a boy has any hormones or like any attraction to her, she has nothing. She wants nothing to do with him. For now, this is great, obviously, because
it's good. Yeah.
She's 15. However, lately it's turned into a fear that boys will physically harm her, like hurt her or murder her if they realize that she blocked them on social media. She seems to think male hormones and homicide are linked. How do I navigate this? I don't want her growing up with a fear of men, but I also don't want her to think that boys should be overtly sexual towards her either. The last poor kid didn't even say anything to her. She just heard from a friend that this particular kid is, quote, always horny.
Oh.
And I don't even know how a girl would know that, but since almost all 17-year-old boys are kind of horn dogs and her peers on social media are so boy crazy that she's always uncomfortable. Any idea what I can tell her? Is she doomed to not have male friends till these boys learn how to not disclose all of their thoughts to young ladies? Thanks.
As a parent of a 13-month-old, I think I have a lot to say here.
No, yeah. I think we were teenage boys in social media era not too long ago. So I think we
kind
can
of
provide some insight.
But when we were on social media, we were posting like, LOL, did you see Mr. Thacker's plumber's crack today? Did anybody do the math homework? Snapchat came out when we were in high school. But I was in band. We turned wrapping paper tubes into lightsabers, and that's what we said. You know what? Like we didn't do. I wasn't.
You never Snapchat. You never got a Snapchat from a girl?
No. I mean, I Snapchatted women, but it was always cordial. It was just like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? That was the extent of all of my Snapchat conversations. I never had any sort of sexually themed discussions with any. I might have told a girl that I liked her. I might have told a girl like, hey, I wanna give you a hug. you know?
I
But it
think
was
I think that's I think that's what's happening here is that guys are expressing interest to this young lady over social media, and she's taking it to mean that they
it's a
are
sexual
sexually, and it's a sexual, explicitly sexual
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
right. Well, okay, so here's the
'Cause
problem.
my first thought is that this her friends are like, "Oh, that guy, he's always horny." Sometimes, sometimes you see what you wanna see,
That's
and you
true.
read
Whoa,
what you
hold
wanna
on.
read.
Dang.
Sometimes, like, let's not pretend that every
This
teenage
just
girl
in.
is innocent.
Patrick hates teenage girls.
No, but this is just reality, right?
It
It's like
is reality.
I
Yeah.
she hasn't seen this guy be
Right.
pervy.
Mhm.
She hasn't experienced it herself.
Right.
Now
She's
if she
just
trusts
heard
her
that he's
friend's
pervy.
judgment, if she
Yeah.
trusts her friend's judgment, then I would
Mhm.
say stay away. But if this
Yeah.
girl, if like, I mean, if it's that joke, like if like everyone at the no, it's the opposite of if everyone at the party says you're drunk, it's time to go home. It's like if you think everyone is always horny, then it's
Yeah.
probably a your perception thing, not so much them.
Right.
Because
Right.
I don't subscribe to the idea that every teenage boy ever is just uncontrollably lustful. I don't think that that's true.
Yeah. I was in band. These guys, they there are certainly here's the thing, when you're a teenage boy, there's a lot of jokes to be made about sex because it's funny. But like but you're
Sure.
with your boys, you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
just hanging out with and sometimes it's funny to open up the window as the church did in the 60s to allow women in and see the silly things that you do with your boys, you know?
Yeah.
And so I imagine some of this is like guys making lewd jokes that make their friends laugh, and then girls they like let a girl hear it or they say it to a girl because they all think it's really funny because that is kind of funny,
Yeah.
you know? Like I get it, right? I've been there. But the way that the girl hears it is like, oh, they all want to have sex with me now. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, no, we
Incorrect.
just thought it was
Yeah.
funny. And so I think some of that is probably just like classic guy girl dynamics, like them reading too much into it. But I think also
Yeah.
part of it is like dudes are way more overtly sexual now because there's so much more of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's way
There's so much
more
more of that
acceptable. I feel like
content out
now,
there. Yeah.
like when I was getting on social media, when I was on Facebook, my mom was like, never, I wasn't allowed to have my face on Facebook. It's in the name, and I couldn't have my face on there. My profile picture was a Lamborghini for about 3 years because my mom wouldn't let me have my
Your
own
face there. Yeah.
face on it, you know? So it just totally changed since we were
Yeah.
teens. And I don't know, you probably know better than me on what to say to this girl because you are a youth minister. And
Fair.
I don't have any I don't know any women under the age of 20.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah, I
not
would
really
say, like,
helpful.
I think that she's fine, like, she's safe to put up boundaries. I think it's good to put up boundaries.
Yeah.
For example, I don't think that generally speaking, it's not a good idea to text someone of the opposite gender or Snapchat or FaceTime or whatever after dark, whatever time of day that is,
Yep.
after dark. Usually a
Right.
bad idea. Um, yeah, it's not a great idea. So, sometimes, like, and you can see, you know, you can like see what guys do with certain information. Like the example that I gave was like the answer to what are you doing is always homework. If you're creeped out by a guy, it's always homework. There's no
Yeah.
way to make homework sexy. If you say,
Right.
"Oh, I'm watching a movie," without me. "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
taking a shower," without me.
Without
"Oh, I'm,"
me. Yeah.
yeah, like you can, that if he turns everything into that,
Yeah.
then you're probably best to just always be doing homework, never respond after dark. Oh, my mom takes my phone away at night. Okay, fine.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Use your uncool old mom as a reason why you can't as a reason why you can't talk to these guys. And so
oh,
then
we're gonna
it's
get
just
emails.
nah. Then you can always yeah, I think so part of this is like being 15 too. And I think as she gets older, she will naturally have more experiences with boys that are less scary. You know, like she will go to more dances. She will hang out with more groups of people, and the boys will be there, and they will start to get more normal as they get older. And so I think by the time she's 16, 17, 18, some of this will go away. I'm not going to say like for sure it'll go away, but the way to deal with this is like she just needs to be exposed to guys that are regular and aren't treating her that way. So, and naturally that will happen because not every guy, like the guys will not say this type of stuff in person even. So like, even if she's hanging out with the same dudes in person, they wouldn't say the types of things that they say over Snapchat. And so I think creating that separation in her mind of people, these guys say these things because they think that they can, and not because they actually believe them. Is like a really hard thing to tell a 15-year-old girl that's terrified that everybody means what they say all the time, you know?
Yeah. One thing she did say is that apparently sexual assault jokes are more common now among the youths.
Weird.
It's partially because of the content they consume, right? So
yeah, right.
Anyway, but kids, especially boys, they're braver on social media. They're braver over text because the consequences are lower. That exact habit of fear of consequences means they're probably not going to do anything in person.
Right.
So like you're probably fine.
Yeah.
I don't think she has to worry about getting murdered.
There is no weaker species on Earth than a 15-year-old boy that talks big game online.
Oh yeah.
And if you meet one of those guys in person, it's kind of like, no offense to the ladies, but it's kind of like being around a group of little girls, you know, because because he'll say something or he'll try to act cool. He'll go back to his way. Like, it's like you're just acting like a group. You're acting like a group of 5-year-old girls right now, and which is funny because they don't feel that way, and they'll like make fun of you, and like they think that they're cool or whatever. But the 15-year-old guys, unequivocally the lamest group of men.
I don't know. I do think that 13 and 14 is lamer than 15. I think 15.
So?
I think 15 is when they start to get cool. I think 15 is when they actually start to be like, oh, yeah, I'm an adult, or I need to be an adult soon.
15-year-old girl, as Batman says, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And so you're going to come out of this. What?
I never understood that. That's not true.
It is true.
The night is darkest when the sun is furthest away from the horizon, which is the middle of the night.
Just before the dawn, it's dark.
Okay.
And that means the sun's coming up, right? You're about to be 16. You're about to be, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be working part-time at the local froyo. Like it's going to be great. You're so much in front of you. And I understand it's scary. And I think that some of that is real and valid, because I would be scared to be a teenage girl right now, because I don't know, it's freaky. But a lot of this is guys that are scared, who don't have good dads, who are addicted to porn, and they're not going to do anything because they're weak little babies. So
yeah, so don't be
just find some good friends, hang out with some good friends, have some good people around you.
If a guy is courageous,
you know,
if a guy is courageous enough to like ask you to a dance, or to ask you to show up to hang out with your family, if he's courageous enough to do that,
I would never do that.
He has not neutered himself with pornography. I think
he has proven that he's not the type of person that would in fact kill you.
Yeah.
Because if I was gonna kill a teenage girl, you remember that Norm? You know that Norm Macdonald joke?
No.
Have you heard that? He does this amazing joke that it starts out being about like the 24-hour news cycle, and about how like everyone's afraid all the time. It's 24 hours and all these things. And about how you're supposed to care about this like missing person, you know? And then he kind of invents like the story of the missing person, and then he becomes like the guy that kidnapped this woman in the joke. And he talks about how he like lures her into his van with cheese sandwiches, and then he like goes into detail about like how like he's like, all these guys, they kill someone, they dig like really shallow graves. I would dig a very, very deep grave. You know, and it's just really he just describes in detail how deep the grave would be.
Well,
after
you have
killing
to
this
dig a
woman.
sure grave because the longer you dig, the more tired you get, and the more
Right.
likely it is you're gonna get caught.
I think the line that he says is, so you go through meticulously planning out this murder, and then as soon as it get time to dispose of the body, you get all friggin' hasty. It's really that's good. I love Norm.
That's funny.
Okay, we get one
All
more
right, last
question
one.
before we close.
Is she interested? This is the title of the question. Is he interested in her, or is he French?
Oh,
That's the
I do not
question.
know. I do not know what I
Does
do not
anyone have
know.
advice for like knowing if
Does
a guy
anyone
is
have any
interested?
advice for me with it?
I'm afraid I'm afraid to be direct with him. He's a pretty stoic person. He walks me
Okay.
home a lot. We spend a
Mhm.
lot of time together. We go to mass
Spends
together
your
a lot.
time.
I know he told a
Yeah.
friend he misses me after I was gone for 2 weeks. Slam dunk. And he
I miss
always
her. I do
smiles when
not
I
see
walk in
her.
a room. He he walks me home. We spend a lot of time together. We go to mass together. He missed me after 2 weeks. He always smiles when I walk in a room, but he's French. So, I
Baby,
can't
you light up the
tell.
world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me
That song is funniest. That song is funniest
overwhelmed.
in a Russian accent.
I don't. Okay.
Okay. Baby, you are lighting up my world like nobody else. The way you are flipping your hair
You
is getting me
flip your
overwhelmed.
hair.
That was more
Um,
Ukrainian, but
it was. I don't know what that was, but I do
anyway.
not know. I see the girl. I say, I like this girl. I do.
Uh-huh.
I like to. I like. We go to the place and we.
Now you're
Here's
doing
the
your
thing.
Hani impression. I can't
I
tell what's
was.
cultural. I can't tell what's cultural and what's like a signal. I think maybe he likes me, but then I'll get confused all over again. I just feel confused. I don't know how to go forward. What do I do? Help. What do you think? Does he like her
Uh,
or is he French?
well, I think in gay Paris, I think there's always room for love, and
They do say that. They do
they
say
do.
that. It's in the song, I think.
Yeah,
There's always room for love. Love in Paris is like Jello. There's always room for
there's
more.
always room for a little bit more love.
A
So
little
this
more romance.
guy, he likes you, and you're wondering, is he just French? The French thing to me seems like a bit of a red herring. You
It
know,
does. I
like
think it's a red herring. Yeah.
I think it's like this girl
Or a
is like,
sardine.
man, this guy is clearly attracted to me and he likes spending time with me and I like spending time with him. But there has to be some reason why this can't. So she's
Yeah.
actually kind of racist when you think about it. Because she's like, surely he's French.
Surely it's
And
just
that
because he's French.
and what good comes out of gay Paris?
I loved the paragraph. You were doing your
Yeah.
French accent bit, but
I'm
just
sorry.
the way that she worded it of like, on one hand, he walks me home all the time and we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time together and he always goes to mass with me and he
Yeah.
smiles when I walk in the room and he misses me after a week. But on the other hand, he's
Yeah.
French.
Yeah. He rips
So
cigarettes.
who knows? He blasts some cigs.
Yeah. Does
You
he
should bleep,
smoke?
Ryan, you should bleep it so it sounds like I said the other thing.
Yeah, does he smoke cigarettes? Because if so, just another green flag, I guess.
Honestly, that's yeah.
Yeah. I think this guy likes you.
No Legos, smokes.
I think you are afraid of connection. I think you're afraid of love. And I think you are using a deep-seated what's it called? A prejudice against the French that's in the American mind to
Yeah.
avoid admitting to yourself that you want to be swept off your feet and taken to the country. I have a chateau. I could do, that's what you want, right? And you need to let him take you to his chateau, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah. The
Okay,
Love
he's
Chateau.
yes, he's a little place where we can get together,
Get together.
get together. So you're great. Don't worry about anything. It's good to be French. It's good to be American. Have fun, have lots of cute little French kids,
Little baguettes.
yeah. show them that Instagram reel of the bread flying to the 2 Eiffel Towers. You know which one I'm talking about? Look it up.
I
It's funny.
do. I know
Yeah.
which one you're talking about.
All right,
Oh
that's it
man.
for us. We've done all of our dating questions.
We're out.
That's it if you have a dating question that we didn't get to, go to bit.ly/crunch discord, submit a dating question in the Dating Corner channel, and we will get to it. We'll answer it live on the show, and tell your friends, because maybe you have someone that could benefit from our advice. And we want to help them too. I'm a doctor for hire. I'm not one of those state-sponsored doctors. I don't believe
You're
in
without borders.
I don't believe in socialized medicine. I am a freewheeling, free enterprise, private practice doctor. And if you like what we do and you want to support us, patreon.com/thecrunch is the place to be. We put a lot of work into the show. We want to keep making it better and better. And if you want to help us to that end, join us over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/thecrunch. Patrick, you got anything else for the people?
I always appreciate American stereotypes of Europe, right? Because it's like you got like the South Europe people. They're all like, does he love me or is he just Spanish? You know?
Right.
Oh gosh.
Bless you. Wow.
Violence sneeze.
You do need to go to the doctor.
That's my heart condition I'm developing.
Yeah.
The easiest person to see if they like you is an Irish person, because it's like, oh, he actually talked to me, so he must be head over heels in love.
Yes. Germans will just walk up to you and be like, I want to marry you. They'll hand you a contract.
They'll hand you a contract and a very well-designed watch, and they'll be like, here, it's almost time for us to get married.
And a gun and a car. And they'll be like, this is my dowry to your dad. Oh, we love the German people. All right. See you guys next time. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.